It is time to take your power back. No one took your power. You gave it away. You gave it away to drugs, alcohol, women, video game, and so much more. It is time to take your power back. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Andrew, and today I am talking about men who needs to take their power back. All right, this is an exciting topic for me because I've seen it so many times in so many situations where there are guys with such great potential to become whatever it is that they want to be, the best version of themselves in whatever it is that they do. But unfortunately, they've lost their power or they've given up their power to different things. And it's different reasons why they've given that power up, but it's time to take it back, right? In order for us to become the best version of ourselves, in order for us to thrive in our purpose, we must take our power back and take control of that power, all right? So we're going to be looking at why we need to stop outsourcing our validation, why we need to detach from addiction, how to rebuild discipline, and how to choose purpose over pleasure, and also how to forgive ourselves. All right, so let's dive right into it, guys. So outsourcing validation, let's start there, right? What do I mean by that? Outsourcing validation. Well, outsourcing validation is simply relying on external validation from others to make us feel good, right? So if you're not told you're doing good, or you look good, or you're really good at this, or I appreciate what you're doing, if we're not validated by people externally of ourselves, we don't feel good about ourselves. We don't feel fulfilled. We don't feel enough. I get it. Everyone occasionally can appreciate a validation, right? If somebody sees you doing something, say for example, let's say you're on a weight loss journey, and the work you're putting in start to show, right? It's obvious. People can now see that you are actually losing some weight, right? Of course, it does feel good when somebody say, oh, hey, I noticed that you're losing some weight, man. Keep it up. I know that feels great, but it shouldn't be what drives us, what motivates us, and what inspires us to continue working, right? If you're on a weight loss journey, it's because of your health. It's because that is something that you need to achieve for the sake of your health and physical and even mental well-being. So therefore, needing validation from someone else should not be something that drives you. It should be that progress that you're making, and also the fact that what you're doing is meant to benefit you from a health perspective, right? Now, let's look at the thing that really kills and takes such strong control on men's power, and that is addiction. Addiction of any sort, right? Whether it's addiction to women, addiction to alcohol, addiction to drugs, addiction to video game, addiction to gambling, whatever it is, addiction is something that takes a man's power. It controls it. It just put that strong hold on a dude's ability to live in his purpose and in his true self. And so we have to take control of that, right? Now, how do we go about doing that? For addiction, it's not a simple, clean cut and dry matter. Some people are addicted for many different reasons, right? There are things that lead to the addiction. There's an underlying issue or reason that led to the addiction. And so I can understand that it's not something that you can say, oh, just stop. Oh, you play too much video game, just stop. No, right? It's more, there's a reason behind it. There's a reason for that obsession with that particular thing. And so if you go back to my previous videos about seeking help, this is where that comes in. If you have an addiction, you know that you're addicted. Most people who have an addiction to something, they know they're addicted. They know that this is something that has a strong hold on them, right? And oftentimes there are people around you, family members, friends, co-workers, etc., that make it be known that, bro, this is an issue, right? So it's not like you have this issue and you have no idea that you have the issue. You know that you have it. So what are you doing about that, right? If you're not being prompted by others to go fix it, you should be prompting yourself to go fix it. And I know it's not easy. I know it's easy to say than to do, but at some point in time, we have to take the necessary action to change that addiction. Because if we can't do that, it's going to continue to hold you. It's going to continue to control you, and your power is snatched. You'll never get your power back. And without that power, you can't be the best version of yourself. You won't be able to live in your truest self, in your purpose, right? So once you've seek the help that you need to address that addiction, it's now time to start rebuild ourselves to become disciplined like our life depends on it. Because you know what? It does. Your life really do depend upon that sheer level of discipline that is now required for you to overcome and to maintain that growth over that situation that was holding you back. Whatever that was, you need to be disciplined, right? If it's alcohol, for example, part of that discipline and that rebuilding process is to make sure that you don't buy it and bring it in the house, right? You might need to stay away from bars and other places that are serving alcohol for a while until you've taken your power back. You've taken your control back, right? Once you've done that, then okay, now you can be in spaces where there's alcohol beverages, but because you've already taken your power back, it's okay to be in those spaces because you have control, you have self-control. So instead of caving in and getting a drink and making an excuse to say, oh, it's just a beer, or oh, it's just one drink versus 5. Instead of doing all that, you say, you know what, let me get me a bottle of water, let me get me a glass of juice, etc., right? Because you have taken back your power and your control by implementing discipline, the type of discipline where it's like your life depends upon it, right? And the next thing that is another important factor is choosing purpose over pleasure, right? For everything that you do, for all these addiction that and distraction that snatches our power, right? Video game, drugs, liquor, women, whatever it might be, it's all about pleasure. It's all about feeling good. Why are we so wired to feel good? I mean, it's a natural thing. It's just, it's a human being. That's just kind of how we're made. We like to feel good, right? We love to feel the feelings of feeling good in whatever way, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's natural. But the problem comes in is when the desire to feel good it's taken over our ability to function and operate within our purpose, right? Let's just say, for example, you're a school teacher, I don't know, right? And you feel like you're doing this because you feel like this is your calling, right? You was meant to be a teacher and to educate the next generation, right? That's a noble thing. That is it. For those who are teachers, teaching is hard. That's a noble thing, right? You're doing a noble job. But let's say because you have this burning desire to drink, you let that get in the way of your purpose. So you go to school drunk sometimes. You can't really be yourself. You're getting suspended from your job, or you're getting in trouble with leadership because you're showing up with alcohol on your breath, etc., etc., etc. That's because you've chosen pleasure over purpose, right? The key thing about life is balance. And what I mean by that is you can have both. You can have the pleasure and you can have the purpose, but it's all about moderation. It's all about control, right? If you struggle with alcoholism, maybe the best thing is for you to stop drinking altogether. But maybe it's okay for you to also be able to have a drink or two in a social setting every once in a while instead of completely going cold turkey, right? Maybe limiting the amount that you were drinking before is best. Now, if you're someone who, whenever you drink any amount of alcohol, even if it's just one shot, you're getting in trouble, then maybe you need to stop altogether. But if you're someone who it requires 4, 5, 6 drinks to get you in trouble, then maybe you can cut back to just one. You're still getting to enjoy a drink, your favorite drink, and that feeling that comes with drinking, but you are in control. The drink is not controlling you. You control the drink. That's how you get to choose purpose over pleasure. But in this particular case, you're choosing both, but in moderation. And that's important. That is very important, right? So you're not limiting yourself from the things that you enjoy by cutting it off altogether. You're reducing it, and you are making sure that you are in control of that situation and it's not in control of you, right? And the most important thing, guys, is forgive ourselves. Forgive yourself. No one is perfect, right? We're all human beings. We're all imperfect beings. We have flaws. Some of us have more flaws than others, some less. But we all do have flaws. So instead of beating yourself up for having a struggle, having something that took your power away, let's not do that. Let's forgive ourselves. Let's be kind to ourselves, right? Once you have taken the steps of 1, stop outsourcing your validation. You have seek the necessary help that you need to detach from your addiction. You start the rebuilding process to become disciplined like your life depends on it. You have chosen purpose over pleasure and or a balance between the two. And now you're at that point where you're rebuilding yourself. You're forgiving yourself as well, right? You are forgiving yourself, and that will allow you to continue that rebuilding process and become unrecognizable, right? Somebody who, for example, it used to be a drug addict. Everybody knows when someone is a drug addict. Usually you can tell the way they carry themselves. You just know, right? There's a lot of telltale signs that says this person is on drugs. And if you know them personally, then you know that they are, right? When that person transform from being an addict to now living in their purpose, or at least be on that pathway to becoming the best version of themselves, they become unrecognizable. They become unrecognizable, right? For someone on a weight loss journey, say that person is overweight and they silently took these steps and went on a weight loss journey. 6 months later, a year later, you run into someone who you haven't seen since then. They see you now with all the progress you've made. You are unrecognizable in their eyes, and it should also be unrecognizable in your eyes. First of all, you should see that for yourself, right? You should see the changes, and you should embrace those changes and continue that progress of being able to take ownership and take control of your power from anything or anyone that is taking it away from you and holding you back from being the best version of yourself, right? So that is it for today, guys. I hope that I was able to inspire you a little bit. I hope that you did take some value from this one. And like I like to say, let's continue to grow, evolve, and transform into the best version of ourselves. Peace.